at one more example. In this next example, we have among the senators in the current Congress, 44% are Democrats. Is the value 44% a parameter or a statistic? We have to read this one pretty carefully here. So we're looking at the 44% and we're trying to figure out what that's describing. So we're looking at the group. So it says among the senators. That small word "the" means that we're looking at all of the senators. And among all of those senators, 44% are Democrats. Why does that matter that this is describing all of the senators? When you're talking about something that describes an entire group or all of a group like this, that means we're talking about a population, which means that this 44%, because it's talking about a population, P for population, P for parameter, is going to be a parameter, not a statistic, because this 44% is describing the entire group of the senators in the current Congress. Next, we want to talk about two different types of data. Well, we can split up data into two different kind of types, which would be, the first one would be what's called categorical or qualitative data. If you look at the root of the word qualitative, it means qual for quality. If you look at categorical as the same title, think about it as a category. So these terms, qualitative and category, they mean that they are whatever we're using to describe our data is not numerical. They're attributes. They might be words or descriptive terms, but they are not going to be numerical. They're going to be categories or qualities, things that are descriptive, not numbers. Whereas if we look at the next set of data, which is a type called quantitative or numerical data. Quantitative, you think of quantity, and that's going to be numbers. Quantities are numbers. So we're going to be looking at things that have numerical measurements and are based on numbers. So just to give you a couple of quick examples here of different ideas that you can look at both ways, either categorically or quantitative. So for instance, you're in school, you're talking about your major. Your actual major, whether it's biology, English, teaching, whatever it may be, that's just a name that has no numerical value. So that, just the name of your major would be considered categorical because it's just a name, it's not numerical. However, how much it's going to cost you to actually complete your major, that's numerical and would put you in the quantitative column if you were talking about its cost. Another example would be, let's say, talking about everybody's cars. Your actual type of car, whether it's a Ford or a Nissan, that is just a category, something that's describing the quality or the category of vehicle you have. It's not numerical, so that would be categorical. However, if you talk about the price you actually paid for your car, then we're talking about something numerical, and that is considered to be quantitative. Also, we could look at, let's say, the type of dog you have. The actual type of dog you have, let's say it's a Cocker Spaniel. That's a name, that's something that describes the quality or the type of your dog. However, if you talk about its lifespan, that is a numerical value. So then that would be quantitative. So what we want to do is look at different types of attributes and decide whether or not they're categorical, meaning non-numerical, or if there's something that's numerical, meaning quantitative. So let's go through this list and decide if we can figure out where all these fall. So let's see. The first one, we have gender. Well, gender means if I were to ask somebody whether or not they are male or female, that's not numerical. That is a descriptive attribute. So that's categorical. There's no numbers involved. If I were actually measuring fish and taking their lengths, then that's going to be numerical. So that would be quantitative. If I were asking all my students their favorite colors, they would get red, blue, green. Those are non-numerical values. Those are just attributes. They are descriptive terms. So that's categorical. If I was looking at ticket prices for, let's say, a movie, that would be definitely numerical data. So that would be quantitative. Everybody's pulse rate in, let's say, one of my classes, that would again be numerical, so that'd be quantitative because it's numerical. There's numbers. Recording the temperature each day in January. Again, we're talking about numerical data. Temperatures are numbers, so that'd be quantitative. Let's think about the New York Times bestseller list. The bestseller list, even though you see a ranking of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, what's actually on the bestseller list are names of books. The names are not numerical data. That's just labeling. They're just descriptive ways to talk about a book. So that is categorical. The number of flu cases each year, that's definitely a number that somebody could give us, and that's considered to be quantitative. The next thing I want to talk about is what's called discrete data versus continuous data. Discrete data is something that can be countable. It's finite. It might be a really big number, but you can count it up. That's what discrete data is. Whereas continuous data has an infinite number of possibilities, meaning you can't count it up. It may cover a huge range of infinite values. And that's the